and welcome back, everybody. Slim Slam and the Bandwagon fan, and boy, are we excited tonight because we are finally at the AFC West and our Kansas City Chiefs. Not the Super Bowl champions this year, unfortunately, the Super Bowl runner-up, but a whole lot of promise lies ahead for our boys, the Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm Slim, he's Slam, and to my left, that is the Bandwagon fan. As always, folks, proudly brought to you by the Jersey Cartel on Facebook and JRV Electrical. Boys, how are we?
Fantastic, Blaze. Ready to go. Woo!
Woohoo! Schnazzy, keen?
I'm doing well, thanks.
You can't
Keen to get into it,
you
mate.
can't bring this hype down.
There's a few good teams here, particularly the Chargers. I'm pretty hot on.
Yep.
Like to see what they've got this year. They had a great season last year. Unearthed, probably one of the steals of the draft being Herbert. I know it was a high pick, but he was out of the top three picks. He was the one that was of the quarterbacks.
Yep.
Was the least hyped, and mate, he absolutely balled out last year. And they get back Derwin James.
Yep.
As always, the Chiefs, one of the most exciting teams to watch in football. So, mate,
yeah.
the West is loaded, and I can't wait to crack into it.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Before we jump into it, I'm not going to hold us up too long because I really don't want to. But the social channels, if you haven't already, check us out on there. And if you're subscribed or following on the podcast already, thank you so much. If you haven't, please consider doing so. It helps us a lot. But yes, the Kansas City Chiefs Slam.
Ooh, yeah. 15-2, Blaze.
15-2.
15-2.
Yep.
Now, the only reason I've done that, Blaze, is because I thought I'd downplay it. I was going to go 16-1.
Yep.
But then I remembered that we rested our starters in the last week of the year, so I figured we'll do that again.
Yep.
We might actually still beat Denver by doing that, but I tried to be a little bit,
Partial.
modest.
Yeah.
And, I gave them 15-2. I think the other loss I gave them to was the Chargers.
Yep.
But let's be honest, there was only really one weakness on this team last year, and that was offensive line, and that was only brought upon by a couple of injuries late on in the year.
Yep.
Have they adequately replaced him?
Have they they've bloody adequately replaced him. Don't you worry.
He's that excited. He's having a stroke, folks.
Duvernay Tardif's back from his...
The doc.
Yep, he's back from his year off. Opt out?
Yep.
They
COVID
picked
out.
up Creed Humphrey, the centre out of Oklahoma. Love him.
Yep.
So redneck, but
Yeah.
I love him.
No, he's perfect.
What a name as well.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. He's
Great band,
screams it,
Creed.
doesn't he?
Do you reckon they call him Rocky?
Don't know.
Might be
Probably
French.
not. They picked up Joe
Barnaby J. Humphrey.
Tooney, sorry. And then there was just so much stuff happening. Now, they did re-sign Mike Remmers, which did make me a little bit flat.
Yep.
As well as Marcus Robertson, or DeDropson Robinson.
Yeah,
as I
we
like to call
hate
him,
him.
because I cannot stand him. He just drops everything.
Bring up my best, mate.
Dirty Dan re-signed
Dirty
for
Dan's
a one-year
back.
deal.
What
which
about Frank the Shark Clark?
Yeah, the Shark, he's all right.
He's
been
smelling
cleared
blood.
to play week one. So
Blood
that's
is
good.
back in the water with
Yeah.
Frank Clark.
Did lose Tano Capasino, which I was a bit flat about.
Yeah, good name.
Yeah, I know. Really good name. Not as good as Willie Gay.
We're talking about a lot of good players here right now. One player I'm really interested to see play this year is Clyde.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got him. He's going to explode.
I just have a feeling that it's his time.
Yeah. The offensive line was not built for run last year. It's definitely way more bolstered to do that this year. They're also very hot on Nick Bolton, the linebacker they took in the second round. He was our first pick. They love him from everything that I'm reading, which is a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of articles.
If I've got any team covered, it's this one.
A lot of stuff. You've read the internet twice, mate.
Still figured out how to use it.
Yeah, but I've done it back to front on the Chiefs website.
Shinazi, do you think, is there anything that can go wrong here for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Mate, I think I preached this the same time last year as well around the Chiefs, and without Patrick Mahomes, I have serious questions over Heineke. Heineke?
Who?
Who's the backup quarterback?
Chad Henne.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one.
Chad
Heineken.
Henne.
You mean
Same
the guy
thing.
who balled out against the Browns? Still beat the Browns
Mate,
in the playoffs.
my Bucks.
You're a wanker.
No, I said the same thing last year about how concerned I was about Pat getting injured.
Yeah, he did.
And I preached it, and you guys laughed at my face. And then how did the season sort of end a little bit? No, he didn't get.
He was fine.
He was getting hit everywhere.
He had turf toe.
I know what you
He had
mean.
turf toe, and he was getting absolutely
And he's
torched,
still so
especially in
good.
that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm really excited to see is that they built that O-line back up.
Yeah.
I mean, they did do it a bit through the draft and some signings of players, so there might be some issues where they merge and gel correctly. I'd hope by the second half of the season that they've got that on lock and they're good to go.
Yeah.
But that was my key concern last year. So, they've addressed that. So I can't really have any major concerns.
No.
Yeah.
The only concern I have, and I am a little bit concerned, is there is no real standout wide receiver two.
Yes.
Now,
Yes,
granted, you've got the best tight end potentially ever
Yep.
playing, and he's fantastic. So it does take
Stretch.
away the pressure. Tyreek Hill is also a very good wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you've heard of him. But then obviously there's it's between Mecole Hardman, Byron Pringle, or Demarcus Robinson. And like I do like Byron Pringle. He's getting better, and he's a young fella.
I think it's Hardman's spot to grab though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But like they need something better. They didn't get much out of Sammy Watkins last year.
Yeah.
But he did play a very vital role in spreading the field and doing all those sorts of things. So that is my one concern. I would have liked to have seen that addressed. I don't know where, in free agency or something, because we're not running hot with money or anything like that.
In some capacity.
And the things that we did draft were more important than that. But
I think, though, you touch on it. You've got probably the best tight end in the Football League at the minute, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kittle's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully Kittle has an injury-free season.
Undoubtedly top
not
two.
on the,
But
not,
he's
not on
yeah,
the same planet, though.
It's a
Kittle
close
and
contest, right? But you've got he pretty much doubles down as a wide receiver too, as a receiving option.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't have any good tight ends who can't catch the ball.
Well, there's only like
some of them can only block.
3 good ones in the whole league, really.
Yeah. To the downfield aspect of his play too, which
so
is
he can
just
give you a big
enormous.
play. So
He's
you've
essentially
got him.
He's essentially a wide receiver in a tight end's body.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And I'd like to see, I reckon, Clyde in his time at LSU too did a few more pitch and runs. Lined up out wide too. Wouldn't mind seeing a bit of that out of him this year.
Yeah.
I agree massively. He caught a lot of stuff out of the backfield at LSU, and they virtually did not use that at all last year, which I feel like maybe had to do with the fact that there was no preseason and mini camps, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
The other thing here is a lot of teams didn't really play many starters in the preseason. Kansas City worked out their entire offense for not for very long, but they played basically the whole quarter of the last game, which some teams didn't play at all. So that offensive line has had a little bit more time to gel. They have got some really good players now on that offensive line.
Yes, they do.
They also bought out, who'd they bring out of retirement? They bought a lineman out of retirement. Anyway, he was a Pro Bowler a few years ago.
Oh.
Not Luke Jokel.
No, Howie Long. Kyle Long. It was Kyle Long.
Kyle Long.
Yeah, Howie Long.
He's been out
Howie
for a
Long's
while.
Hall of Famer son, yes. He's now starting as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so a whole new revamped offensive line, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we live and die by the Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah.
at this table. At least 2 of us do. And what happened in the Super Bowl,
Me and
obviously,
Snars.
really did hurt. It stung a lot what happened in the Super Bowl. And I think that offensive line is obviously, everyone's talked about it, the numbers that Patrick had to put up in terms of running around, running for his life on as we say, a turf toe.
And some of those throws as well that he was making, like the ones where he was like fading away, like side-arming on the side.
The
like
one
going
where
out
he
of bounds.
was completely flat and actually still hit the guy. Like,
In a lot of ways, he got let down by the drops.
he got let
on
down by the receivers
on
massively.
the throws that he actually managed to make.
The
which
game
is
would have
just
been a lot
insanity.
closer.
But I think I reckon, well, they are the favourites to win the Super Bowl, and they are the favourites.
Quite rightly.
Yeah.
And they are the favourites from the AFC to progress as well. So
Yes.
we are very hot on them. And if you look into the division, just quickly, we've got the Bills, who are probably the number 1 threat for mine.
In the conference, do you mean?
In the conference.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the conference. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself there. You've got the Bills. You've maybe got the Titans. And besides that, we're not, as we spoke about in the last episode, we're not too bullish on the Ravens and Browns' chances in the postseason.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs have it on a platter for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've fixed what they needed to fix in the offseason. They've got a full preseason into Clyde. Patty Mahomes has been able to rest up over the offseason, get his body back together.
Yep.
Mate, the world's their oyster.
Done a few advertisements.
And you know what they
season 2.
You know what they do get week 1?
Yeah.
A brand new put together secondary at Cleveland.
Yeah.
Look out.
They also
Be
get the
dangerous.
1-7 in week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And
So-
Patrick Mahomes' numbers in September are godly.
Yeah. So
Never lost a game.
we're very, very excited to obviously launch our preview. Well, it's not going to this year. It's not going to be a preview review show as much as it's going to be an inclusive kind of episode to kind of have a look at everything in one hit. However, I think looking at the Kansas City Chiefs coming into that round 1 matchup, that's going to be really front and center.
I think it'll be two of our game of the rounds.
Yeah.
It's a big game. 2 of probably the top 4 best teams we're calling in the conference
Yep.
going up against each other in week 1 in Kansas.
In Kansas City, yep.
So it's going to be a massive game, and even I'm excited. And I don't usually get too excited because I play the devil's advocate a bit here on the table,
do.
but I love good football.
Someone
and
has to.
The Chiefs are a supremely talented team,
It's
especially with Patty Mahomes at the helm.
It's always nice to see Kareem Hunt coming back and going up against the Chiefs as well. Little storyline underlying it all.
Is it? No. Not
Does it make you sad at all?
It does, Blaze.
Yeah.
It gives me the irrits.
It does give you the irrits. Okay,
Makes me
fair.
very flat.
I'm really sorry I brought it up.
Puts me in a bad mood.
Let's move on to the Chargers,
You've
shall we?
ruined the whole rest of the show for me now.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, we're done talking with the Chiefs. You're probably
Okay.
flat anyway. But the Chargers, excuse me, are everyone's kind of pick for the second place in this division.
Yep.
The much improved Chargers on the back of really exemplary rookie play from Justin Herbert and expecting more of the same. And obviously getting a few players back, Sam, this year.
I don't
Yeah.
even think it's the players that are going to get the biggest impact out of this. There was a certain change in the head coaching position.
Oh, yes.
That's true.
He's down
Sam?
in Detroit these days.
You want to take it? You want
Anthony Lynn's gone.
to enlighten the fans?
On who the coach is?
No, who's gone?
Anthony Lynn.
That was a great segue. What I was angling
What's he trying-
towards is the
what is he trying to throw?
biggest change in the offseason, which is going to impact the Chargers the most,
Oh.
is Anthony Lynn leaving.
Yes, correct.
He was a serious handbrake on that team last year. Some of his play calling, some of his... You know, there was that one game where they just muffed that going into halftime.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that Anthony Lynn did wrong on a team that was very talented on offense and couldn't do much on defense, but they get Derwin James back this year. I've got him going 10-7.
I've got him going 14-3. I'm sorry I missed that a little bit there. I thought he maybe was referencing the doctor had maybe been given the shaft and sent somewhere else. So I wasn't sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I've got the Chargers going 14-3. I think they're going to be a fantastic football team.
Yep.
Justin Herbert can only get better, really. Now, the Chargers had arguably one of the worst offensive lines in all of football last year. Justin Herbert's numbers for the offensive line that he had were fantastic. They pick up Corey Linsley out of Green Bay on $62 million on 5 years.
Huge deal.
Was he an all-pro center? I feel like he
Yeah.
was, if not last year, the year before. They also picked up Rashawn Slater, who fell in the draft. I think they got him at 6.
There's an example of protecting your
Was it
assets.
6? No, 13. Sorry, I don't know where I got
Yeah.
6 from. And so, like, yeah. So anyway, they picked up 2 great offensive linemen there. They're going to have a softer draw because they finished third in the division.
7-9 last year.
7-9. There you go. So I've got them winning double that amount of games.
Yep.
And yeah, I think they'll be. I reckon they're almost. I'd say they're the third best team in the conference.
Right.
If Derwin James stays healthy, I reckon they're the third best team in the
I
conference.
mean, they're going to have to get some runs on
after
the
the
board.
Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah.
They were moist games last year. They were in. They were in them.
Yeah.
And they were very competitive, and they just blew it consistently. And that's where I'm saying the change in coach should be. So with 7-9 last year, we get the extra game this year. I've got it going 10-7. I would not be surprised if they do better, like Samus Slammer, same things. Jess at 14-3, but mate, I'm very excited. The Chargers would be stoked that they didn't. That the Dolphins didn't take Herbert and left them with Tua because. Yeah, how that's going to go. But mate,
They've won that.
Herbert was absolutely balling out last year. The deep ball he was throwing, you know, their offense is just going to absolutely be one that is must watch this year. And their defense with Derwin James coming back. Hopefully, there is no, his body is not going to let him down this year. And we can see a masterclass in the secondary.
My
from him.
question, I'm going to send it your way, Chucky, is their receivers and their running back room and obviously the tight ends. So they lost Hunter Henry this year. Eckler should be back from injury.
Yep.
Do they bat deep enough at the skill positions to get them to that record 14-3 that you're saying?
Well, sometimes I think, Blaze, phenomenal quarterback play can hide a lot of things, and it might have to do that a little bit here. But they did it. They drafted a wide receiver in the 3rd round out of Tennessee.
They do have Keenan Allen.
They do have Keenan Allen, and they also drafted a tight end, Trey McKitty, out of Georgia.
Okay.
So they were both 3rd round picks. So they have addressed needs there. Another one I like that they drafted was Asante Samuel Jr. If you remember, Asante Samuel played a lot of years for Philadelphia at cornerback. His son plays the exact same position. That just feels like a win.
A nice little tie and a bow.
It just sort of feels like the guy's going to know what the job is, know what he's got to do. Everything's going to be laid out for him. Nothing's going to surprise him. It just feels like a home run pick, in my opinion.
Don't mind that.
And yeah, I just think that Herbert's going to be that good.
I think they're primed, aren't they? They're primed to take the next step into contention in the AFC.
We've been saying, I think we've been said for quite a few years, even before this show started running, that how good the Chargers are from top to bottom. It was just always that Phil was getting a bit old and Derwin James was getting injured, and things just seem to go wrong for the Chargers every year.
And Anthony Lynn was head coach.
If all things go right this year, I feel like 14-3 is very achievable.
Yeah. The other one you forget to mention there on defense is Big Bad Joey Bosa. The Big Bad.
Yes.
Spent a bit of the last season injured as well.
He did, but he's still an unreal talent. Yeah. Him and his brother, the smaller bear, they get to the quarterback consistently. So you add Derwin James to the secondary to add some cover there. You don't have to stack the box as much. You can throw some more things at them on defense,
Yep.
which is last year you were just relying on Ingram and you're relying on Bosa to get to the quarterback, and that was their defense play. So we're expecting big things.
And Ingram's gone.
You know what? He has gone, but it's a great time to be in LA if you love football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. The kid's just...
Hopefully the Chargers get some fans this year.
Yeah, the kid just screams all-time talent, doesn't he?
Herbert does. Yeah. I
Built,
think
massive, great arm.
brave.
I love everything about him.
And runs a little bit as well.
I hate that he's in the division.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah. I was going to say it's probably going to be a long-term adversary in this division.
You know
too,
what I
which is
wouldn't
gonna
want to be,
one of those
Blaze?
ones.
And that's a Raiders or a Broncos fan, because
Yep.
those two teams that we've just spoken about are probably going to dominate this division for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's outline what the Raiders season is going to look like. shall we?
Raiders. Yes, we are going to talk about the Raiders.
So I'll start. I've got the Raiders going 10-7. I'm quite high on the Raiders this year. I thought
Yucky.
last year that they actually weren't too bad. They finished second in the division, right? And they were
Yep.
in it up to their ears coming towards the pointy end of the season.
They work hard.
Derek Carr's one for mine who's, I don't know, he's faced a bit of
Adversity?
He has, but he hasn't. He's never really had anyone challenging him for that quarterback position. He had a rough year 2 seasons ago.
Like it's conceptualized as worse than it actually is.
Yeah,
But he gets
I think so.
If you're talking about adversity, I'd agree in terms of the media. He does get bashed a bit in the media, and I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as how they make it out to be. The things around him are terrible.
Yeah, exactly right.
Often.
And I mean, the team itself, besides last year, that whole relocation as well played huge on the franchise. It doesn't affect the players much, but the fan base and the engagement with the team as well. But they moved to that brand new stadium. Las Vegas is going to be full of fans this year. Like heaps of just tourists now that the country's opened back up. And I tell you what, they are primed to play some absolutely ripping games in that new stadium. And I like what they've got. Like I still think Derek Carr's good. I think they've got some good young pieces. They've been to the draft in the last few years.
Henry Ruggs comes to mind.
Henry Ruggs, one of the 3 receivers last year that we hyped up heaps. So,
And a guy called Darren Waller. Sorry to interrupt you a little bit there, but Darren Waller is
one of the good tight ends of
is
the
a
league.
really
fantastic.
top tier tight end these days.
We had him. I think last year we were talking he was top 5 in the league.
He was
and I
around
think
that
he's
mark,
he's
top
still
3.
there, man.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Yeah, he's the third best one.
Yeah, right. Well, he had
Without a
some
doubt.
huge years huge
Yeah,
games
the
last year.
The first 10 games of the season last year, he was absolutely on fire. And look, the thing as well that the the Raiders do have is they do have Marcus Mariota at backup quarterback. So if something does go wrong, they have a very serviceable starter sitting in the wings. So I like them. I like what they have to offer. They are in a hard division, so 10-7, might be a tad overs, but I reckon right between us is where they're going to be.
Yeah, I
What's
think
the
that's probably
fans
right.
got the line at?
Well, let Slammer go.
I'll talk while he works that out. I've got him 7-10. Now that's probably. I might have dumbed him down a little bit too, Blaze, because I absolutely hate him.
Yeah.
Can't stand him. They did bring in a lot of players in free agency. Listen to the few of these names: Yannick Ngagwe, Kenyon Drake,
Can
John
play.
Brown out of Buffalo,
Can play.
Solomon Thomas, Casey Hayward, and there was one Willie Snead as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of players they've brought in the off season there, Blaze. I don't imagine they lost too much. Nelson Aguilar left, and they actually did have quite a nice year
Yeah.
last
They've still
year.
got Josh Jacobs at running.
They do
running
still
back.
have Josh Jacobs
They've
at
got
running
Kenyon
back.
Drake is their 2 back.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they've got talent.
And they always draft quite bizarrely, the Raiders. They always do weird stuff. But they took an offensive lineman in the first round, so that's probably helpful. And then they went defense pretty much there on out. So they've addressed that. They've realised that the defense is not great. Other than Max Crosby, they don't have a lot going on there. But yeah, what do the fans say?
So the line surprised me a little bit. It's at 6.5.
Yeah.
And the fans are split 50-50 right down the middle.
Okay.
On 6.5.
So
There you go.
Slammer's more on the mark than I am there. So
Yeah.
when Sam when he reads off
What
some
else
of
is
those
new?
when he reads off some of those names, right, I go like they've got talent.
They've got players. They've got
and
players.
if they can fix the defense and bring in those players that they have drafted into the new system,
I think the issue becomes, though, isn't it? You play 17 games a year, and 4 of them are going to be against the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Yeah, and the other thing is they finished second in the division, which means they're also going to play all the second best teams from the AFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which gives them a
Some
pretty
difficult games.
a pretty tough run.
That'll give you Baltimore, the Colts, and the Dolphins.
And depending on the way you look at the Broncos, who are our next team on the list, they're not going to necessarily be an easy beat for the Raiders.
No, but they've got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb coming back.
Correct.
Bradley Chubb?
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb?
Yeah,
Yes. Sometimes you get
So
Bradley
that's
and Nick confused, but
yeah.
yes.
That's one of the more dynamic.
So if we start with the Broncos
lines.
with the fans,
Yeah.
Mhm.
the line's 8.5 this year, which is
That's got to be overs.
well, it's got to be over. So I've got them going at 7 and 10, and that's generous.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the line's 8.5, and 81% of the fans have them going under.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe that's
Yeah.
a good market there.
That's a good bet.
It is. And I think if you asked us this same thing this time last year, we would say, you know what, 8.5 is about right because everyone was so hyping Drew Lock. We were like, he could be the guy that turns his team around. They have those great pieces on defense. They are primed with him, and he
now he's not even the starter.
failed miserably.
Yeah.
Failed miserably.
It's
He lost his starting job to Teddy Bridgewater in the last couple of weeks.
so. How much of a difference is Teddy Bridgewater going to make for this Denver?
None.
offense?
None. That's a bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
I reckon Denver knows that, and so does the rest of the world,
Yeah.
that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be in Green Bay anymore, and I reckon they're going to go hard at Aaron Rodgers. The issue for mine with doing that,
A bit
Aaron
like what they
Rodgers,
did with Peyton.
Aaron Rodgers is getting pretty old,
Mm.
and he's going to be in the. That'd put him in the same division as two very young, very talented quarterbacks. I'm not sure that's where you want to go in the twilight years of your career.
I'm not sure
It's a
either.
great roster to do that to,
Yeah.
but could you find a similar roster to that, perhaps in a little bit easier of a
They
division?
get Cortland Sutton back this year at wide receiver.
They
who's
do.
quite a serious number one.
They also
option.
they drafted a wide receiver in the first round last year.
Jerry
as well.
Jeudy.
Jerry Judy, yes.
Yeah. So they'll bat deep there, Deshaun Hamilton and the like. So
Yeah.
They lost Philip Lindsay,
they
the running back.
Lindsay.
Yeah,
But they've got Melvin Gordon, don't they?
no, he's gone.
No,
Has he gone as well?
Yeah, he's gone.
I just
Oh
feel,
no, he's there. He left.
Yeah.
the Chargers.
he
Yeah,
left
yeah,
the
sorry,
Chargers,
yeah.
I just feel like Denver, like they've gone, look, Drew Lock's not our man. Drew Lock, sorry, he's not our man. We've got in Teddy. Teddy's just a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And that just screams to me mediocre.
Oh,
Mediocre
exactly.
team.
That's exactly right. I do like Patrick Surtain, who they picked up at pick number 9 in the
Is
draft.
Alabama as well?
Yeah, Alabama, the
I mean,
cornerback.
he's a
Alabama.
cornerback. Yeah.
I like him. He looks good.
Not a
Yeah,
good.
he does look good.
Well, not a good division to be playing cornerback in your first year.
No, it'll be eye opening.
When you got Pat slinging the ball, you're going to have Herbert slinging the ball. And to Carr's
Derek
credit
Carr.
last year, he was slinging it.
Yeah.
He had some numbers too. So
He's probably hoping he's
In-
not left on an island.
and he's
so
going to be on the
often.
field. He's going to be on the field a lot with the offense
Yeah.
that they do have in Denver. So
With-
mate, congratulations and welcome to the big time.
With the 4 quarterbacks in this division, Denver are so far behind. It's not funny.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And that's what it boils down to. And that's I've got them 5 and 12. I don't know if I said that, but I've
Yeah.
got them 5 and 12.
I think the thing just to round out on Denver here is to you allude they might go after someone like Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there is a quarterback in the twilight of their career that wants to go to the West. The
No.
AFC
God,
West.
No.
When you could go to somewhere like the AFC North and you could end up at the Browns, you could go to the AFC South and up at the Colts. You could even go to the AFC East and up at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Why would you go there and still? If Rodgers goes there, they could still be the third or the worst team in that division.
Yeah, definitely. That's not outside the realms of possibility.
So I think they are up the proverbial
actually,
and yeah,
To be fair, if I was Rodgers, I'd rather go to Las Vegas than to Denver.
yeah.
That would be more fun.
That too, but I feel like you'd have a better chance.
I don't feel like Aaron's after that much fun.
No.
Have you seen the bloke?
He's shacked up with Shailene Woodley.
Oh, that's the second
he's
time you've
content.
brought that up
He's
in this
content.
podcast.
Well, welcome to E News and TMC.
The first time I saw it, it really rattled me, and I had to get off my chest.
Clearly. Still talking about it.
Hey, before we move on from the AFC West, and the next time you see us, we'll be doing our preview show for the first week of NFL football for this season. Does the AFC West have a case to be pushing towards the best division in football?
It does. It does. The 2 West divisions are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're clearing away the best.
I'm not saying it is.
It's
but
it's not at the
pushing
moment. It's
up
definitely not
there.
at the moment. But if the Chargers go the way I think they're going to go, it's really just Denver. Denver will give you a bit of an easy beat, and I don't think Las Vegas will be that good. I think the NFC West is still a little ways ahead in that.
Yeah, still a bit to go. But with the development, obviously, another year of Patrick Mahomes, which is just beyond any kind of comprehension.
I love
But
it.
then, but then Justin Herbert as well. And if Derek Carr, as we're kind of a bit bullish on him being underrated in some respects, or maybe harshly critiqued.
He's harshly critiqued. That's what it is.
Is certainly, it's one to watch. I think the AFC West is going to have plenty of great divisional games throughout the year. That's
Do
for
you know
sure.
who my favourite Raiders player is? It's the rarest one of all time. He used to play at the Bills. Richie Incognito.
Yeah, dude, that guy is a maniac.
I just
I
can't
got
believe.
nothing to say about that.
I just can't believe that he's still on a list.
Richie Incognito is probably the type of dude that would listen to this show,
He is.
unironically.
And I'd gladly lose him as a listener.
Oh,
guys.
gee.
I don't know. I just like looking at the teams before, and I was just going, "How is this bloke still getting around?"
Was Richie Incognito ever on the list at the same time as Vontez Burfict?
Nah.
That would have been a serious combination.
But
Jesus.
he's got to be at least 48.
Yeah. Well, he's been going around for ages.
He's a dick.
Got that, Richie. Well, he's about, 6'7" and 350 pounds.
And I live at no.
All right, wrap it up.
Hey, on that note, Richie, if you're listening, please don't.
Unsubscribe, Richie.
Yeah, leave us alone. We're just three meek boys from South Australia.
What?
Meat
boys.
Meek. Meek.
I don't reckon you said meat.
I did say
think
meat.
you meant to, but you definitely said meat boys.
I
which
said meat.
Sounds like a completely different podcast that I don't want to be a part of.
I think we're fitting the...
Oh, wrap it up. I called it before.
Don't go wherever you're going.
We're not fitting the proper qualifications.
Shout out the
for that.
sponsors. Chuck it over to Slammer. And
All right, Jersey Cartel and JRV Electrical. As always, thank you so much for your support on the show. If you haven't already, subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you do get your podcast. Don't show me a picture of Richie Incognito right now. I'm trying to get through the outro.
Jesus.
With all that said and done, Slammer, please get me out of here.
He's been slammed. I've been slammed. That's the Bandwagon fan. Good night.